Let's talk to Lily about this. Is this usual, this cooler turn for September?
Well, what I would say is our weather does vary year on year, but the thing about September is, on the one hand, is the start of autumn, so it's the start of the storm season. We can see stronger winds, slightly cooler temperatures, as you say. But September is also a shoulder month. We're coming off the end of summer, so sometimes what that means is we do also get quite warm weather extending from those hot sunny beach days in August. And we can see that clearly, actually, if we take a look at yesterday's temperature compared to 1 year ago. So yesterday, across the islands, we had highs just under 17 degrees in Jersey and Guernsey. Now that is a few degrees below average cool, as you say, Jess and Willsey. Average would be around 21 degrees. But compare that to 1 year before that. On the 9th September 2023, the highs were 31 degrees. That was the hottest day of the year. Now, obviously, that was an exceptionally hot day. It was in a heat wave, but that difference just goes to show our temperatures really can vary in this month. Now, we are slightly on the cool side, and temperatures are actually going to dip a bit further tomorrow. And the reason for that's all to do with where our air has come from. So we take a look at the pressure chart here. You can see we're in an area of low pressure, and these lines here called isobars, they represent where our winds are going. So they're travelling around anti-clockwise, following the directions of these lines. Now, if we trace those back, you can see the winds have actually come all the way from up here near Greenland and Iceland, relatively cold places, meaning that when this air reaches us, we are then in relatively colder air. And you can see that on the air mass chart here. So the blue colours represent the cool air. As the winds blow that down towards us, that cooler air then reaches us, and see we are plunged into relatively cooler temperatures as well. So that is why it is feeling a little bit on the chilly side. It's all to do with the wind direction.
Yeah, dear. Of course, it is the air display in Jersey on Thursday. Is that going to be more of a 17 or a 31 kind of a day?
Probably closer to the 17. We're expecting highs of 16 degrees, some sunny spells too. But let's get all the details now. Here's your weather. So it has been a rather breezy picture today. We had gusts of wind up to 40 miles an hour, so no surprise the sea is quite rough there. Quite cloudy as well earlier on. We had some respite with some brighter spells, but as we head into tonight, it is going to be quite overcast, and we can expect some drizzle and some rain too. In terms of the next few days, we should have a touch more in the way of sunshine and some bright spells, but definitely a good idea still to pack your raincoat or your umbrella, because there are a few showers around, so you could get caught out if those hit us. And temperatures as well, you may have been noticing that it feels a touch cooler than it has been. Actually quite cold relatively for the time of year. Temperatures dropping as well as we head into tomorrow, and just the stronger breezes are contributing as well to that slightly chillier feel. Today from the satellite there was a fair bit of cloud around, brief bright spells, but once again into this evening cloud is going to return, and that wet weather too. So expect some patchy rain and drizzle, light to begin but then more moderate. All of that though should clear off after midnight. Still a moderate to fresh breeze coming from a northwesterly direction, and minimum temperatures overnight of 12 and 13 degrees. So looking like it could be quite cloudy to begin tomorrow, but then we'll start to see increasing bright and sunnier spells as clouds melt away. Just a small chance of a shower later on, but the wind's still moderate force 4, so any rain will blow away fairly quickly, so showers shouldn't be too long lasting. And maximums of 16 and 17 degrees, so a few degrees cooler than today. Let's get our times of high water around 11 and 12 a.m. later on at midnight. And as we take a look at the week as a whole, yes, there are some bright spells, particularly Friday looking like a fine, dry and sunny day, and temperatures increasing into the weekend. Hello there, very good afternoon to you. Well, quite a grey picture overall today, but there should be some bright spells this afternoon. Highs of 17 to 18 degrees, so a touch cool for the time of year. And we'll likely see some light patchy rain and drizzle this evening, ramping up to more moderate rain, but that will then clear off after midnight. An overcast night though, and minimum temperatures of 12 to 13 degrees. Now tomorrow there will be some cloud around, but overall a much brighter and sunnier day. The winds a touch lighter too, around a moderate force 4, coming from a northwesterly direction, and highs of 16 to 17 degrees. We'll notice though those temperatures dropping even more over the next few days.